Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Rhyme and Reason. We are the podcast that encourage, inspire, and provoke thought. We hope to meet you at your point of need. I am the host, Wanda Reid. Our subject today is peculiar. Peculiar. As I sit and think about the word peculiar in itself, I am drawn to understand more of the meaning. I am not really sure why I am to do this, other than because you asked me. But it is probably much more than that, and much more than you or I realize. But what I do know is whatever we do, we are to glean something from the mere experience. A lesson to learn, a message to receive, a confirmation of some kind. But who am I that I am not to be mindful of the requests that are being made of me and obedient to do them if urged by our Father? Well, here I am with the word peculiar. To me, signifying different, strange, not like the norm, odd, if for no more than the lack of the ability to find another word that I would deem to be appropriate. I can remember wondering as a child why I could not fit in with everyone else. And I say that because I did not look different or odd, for I had been blessed with 2 hands, 2 feet, 2 eyes, and things of this nature. Also, there would seem to be no reason that I would be different, yet different is what I always felt. I always felt like I had possibly been born a minute too late or a minute too soon. But something made me different, and yet I did not know why. Yet it was later on, as my life progressed, that I discovered the answer to why. And as odd as it may seem, it was not at the moment when I accepted the Lord in my heart and in my life that I made the connection. It was really years later as I began to allow myself to be used by God, and He began to stir up the gifts within me. But my past behavior would be an indication of my peculiarity. My past challenges and situations, my wrong and right choices would all be indicators of my peculiarity. For I had been chosen by God long before I accepted Him in my life. And therefore, the things that the world could do, if I tried, the outcome was never like the world's. Yet, the Lord allowed me to make mistakes along the way. Mistakes along the way to grow me, to teach me, to mold me, to shape me, to do what a God as awesome as my Master would do. Peculiar is being set apart, but the true indicator in the spiritual realm is who are you set aside for? Because the Lord sets us aside for a purpose, then ordains us with all of the equipment that we need to go forth. It is our flesh that hinders us, whether it is because of poor choices or because we sabotage the plan that God has as if we have a right to do so. And the Father that I serve continued to have mercy upon me, even though I am unworthy. But as a peculiar child, I am set apart for a distinct purpose, a purpose that God has for my life. Set apart even before I was formed in the womb of my mother. Many times, we as human beings, and to personalize it, I would consider to be peculiar something that I did not like. Truthfully, because we all would like to be liked, and especially when we are young, and standing out as different is not the most comfortable place to be. So, a lot of times we make adjustments in our behavior to try to accommodate the norm, who may or may not have been chosen by God. But when the Lord ordains your life for a purpose, no matter what you do, you can't outrun the plan of God. You may try and try, but the result will be that you will not be comfortable because you are fighting against the purpose of your existence. For each one of us are created differently and are each equipped with what we need to do the jobs that the Lord has decided that we are to do. We really don't get to choose if we are obedient. And allowing the Lord to choose rather than opposing His plan for one's life will show the ability to realize, recognize, and acknowledge that God is in control and not us. I would like to add that being peculiar and set apart for God's work is an honor. And when life is over for me, I want to hear my daddy say, "Well done." And while I am here, I want to know that I am in His will. And to be peculiar is to be like Jesus, unless you think that it was not peculiar to feed a multitude of people, to change water to wine, to die and to rise, to heal the blind, to cause the dead to come to life, and much, much more. But our problem is we want peculiar only if we feel that we can see the natural benefits from being different. We want immediate satisfaction to justify why we are where we are. But the word does not say that we will see in the natural, but as children of God, we are set apart for God, to be used by God any way that He deems we are to be used. So, no matter how uncomfortable my life may become, I will not stop serving my God. I will be a peculiar people because in the totality of it, I am chosen. I am grateful, and I have an opportunity to do the work of my Father here on earth and to see Him whenever I am no longer here. Peculiar, set apart. This right here, for rhyme and reason, is a different way that I presented this, but it was presented knowing that God has a purpose for each life. We are all different. We need to make a change. We need to accept and embrace the call that God has on our life or lives, and also acknowledge and embrace that that difference is not a bad thing, not a bad thing at all. For we are fearfully and wonderfully made at the hands of God. And because He made us, He make no mistake, He knew what He was doing. It is us, we, me, I, that fail to acknowledge who He is and walk in what He has ordained for us to do. And whether you are saved or not saved or don't know God, Embrace your peculiarity because anything that is different that God has given, there's purpose for it. Know this, that you are fearfully and wonderfully made at the hands of God. He made no mistake about anything about you, and you are His child. I'd like to thank you for joining Rhyme and Reason on today, for all of those who listen. And I would like to ask you to give me some feedback. What is your peculiarity? Are you embracing what God has given you? And if you're not, do you plan on it? And how would you? I'd like to thank you for joining Rhyme and Reason on today, for all of